Magic, guns, machines, weapons, people, buildings. Everything was used, nothing was exempt. When the machines became inert, we fell back to our buildings, standing our ground, making use of vantage points, and occasionally toppling one over our foes. Their screams when they realized their error were as welcome as a meal for the day. When the last of the buildings crumbled, we used the rubble as barricades. The homes of the people would still serve their purpose even as nothing but a bundle of concrete and steel. The children were growing, and the mothers had the will to protect their future. Our numbers swelled while the enemies dwindled. After the 25th year of battle, there wasn't a single citizen that wasn't useful or combat-abled. And as such, they were drafted into his campaign. When the rubble was claimed by the enemy, we used the bodies of our comrades to protect our lives, praying for the sanctity of their souls while allowing them to be desecrated by gunfire and magical lightning. We asked for their forgiveness once, and let that be it. They would see the necessity. When their corpses rose up against us, we put them to rest with our last bullets. A crushing blow to many, but not us. With our last round, we felled the final necrolite. Without the means to fire our weapons, we shaped them into blades and maces, running forward, songs and prayers on our lips. When our strength was drained, and our hope laid to waste, he still stood before us. Our men stood there. Proud, strong, defiant. Sayahaket, the man who had rallied us in our most dire time. The man who had turned cowards into war heroes. The man who had turned a 5-year struggle of survival into a 35-year-long campaign against the enemy. The man had vanquished the undead scum from our world, never to return. Now he stood alone as the greatest of the Fae approached. They congratulated him on his fortitude, but little else. We wept for our coming loss, crying out his name. Before this tragedy, losing a world almost seemed petty. Without him, it would have already been lost. They then asked how he wished to die. He didn't answer. He stood as if absent-mindedly before them. When they demanded an answer, he at last turned to them and answered, "I won't." His words rippled across the battlefield, resonating with authority and power. For but a moment to the soldiers did it seem as if there might still be hope. If he had such confidence, then surely there must be something to hold out for. Some sliver, a remnant of hope for the morrow. Even as they raised their blade did we hold out for this miracle. They stabbed our men in the chest to prove him wrong. Once pierced, the Fae twisted the blade as to make the wound all the more grievous and the statement clearer. As it tried to withdraw the blade, it found the man grasping the wrist with unnatural strength. With a sickening crack, he had shattered the creature's bones, and with a wave of his arm, the Fae leader was vanquished. He had stood against the pointy ears. He had spit in the face of the necrolites, and then he defied death itself, blessed by a force then unknown to us. With a blessing carried through his shout, we rose with strength renewed. We could not tell where it came from, nor did it matter. Our men had stood strong through everything. What we thought would be our last moments alive instead proved to be our proudest moment, our grand stand. Under his charge we went from doomed to saved. His empire still stands. But the man does not.